let's look at how to create archive backups with tar, cron, and rsync over SSH. So first of all, I want to make backups, and then I want to be able to have them generated and put in the location, and then I want to have the client machine be able to get them. So on the server side, I'm going to look at some things. First of all, when cron runs, it generates output, and that output is visible through postfix and Alpine, so the mail system. So let me go ahead and install postfix and Alpine so that I can see what's going on. And sometimes you'll get some kind of a message here asking you if you want to select to run as a a mail server or just local. I choose local only unless you actually want to be a mail server. So local only, then you can just see your local mail. You can use Alpine to get in and see your mail as it comes in. So you can press E for exit, and then I for index, and then Q to quit out. All right, you can figure out the Alpine client at some point. All right, now that I have that there, I can get output whenever there's a problem with cron. Now I'm going to go ahead and create my data directory that is going to be generating data, or it's going to be a backup. So I'm going to make this data directory, and you can have any directory you want, but you want to have a backup type thing in place, and you want to be able to back them up. So I'm going to create a bunch of really important files. So there are a bunch of files in this backup, or this data directory to be backed up. I'm also going to make a directory that's for my backups called backup. All right, so I have a backup directory, I have a data directory, I can go and see cron stuff. Now I wanted to go over here and jump to the client machine. And the idea is maybe I'm going to be logging into the server from the client, and so maybe I'll do SSH to my server.example.com, and now I'm over here in the server. I also want to be able to have a local client as well, so create a tab there. And now I have both a client root account and a server one I can look at, so I can switch back and forth between the two of them. All right, so whenever I want to use the server side, I can look at that one, and the client side over here. Okay, so now on the server, I want to back up the data files. So I'll use tar cvfz, so create verbose file and use gz compression, and the file name is backup data.tar.gz, and it's going to be the data directory. If I run this command, it will generate a file. You can then see in the backup directory, you can see there's a data.tar, but I want to have a date stamp in it that can be more useful. So I can use the date command, and I use the date command with options. So +%y, capital Y, +% capital M for month, M, +%D, and then it shows the date this way. All right. Next, I want to have that date command inside of this other command right here. So I can use a backtick right here, and it'll call this command, get the output from this command, and put it right here. So I'll do date +%y -%m -%d, and it will run. There you go. Now, another issue you have is that some commands, when you're using cron, it doesn't have the environment set correctly. So it's better to take all the commands you're running and just use the absolute path names. So I'll do which tar, and you can see it's user bin tar, so it changes the command right here to user bin tar. That's great. And the date command is user bin date, so we'll go ahead and do user bin date. All right, so that is taken care of. You can look at the backup directory. You can see there is a file there. We don't really want it to look like that. We probably want an extra character in here. Maybe we'll put a dot right here between the date and the word data. And take a look, and now it looks better. So let's go ahead and make this command a little cleaner now. We don't need the verbose. So take out the V. And we don't want that error message about leading 0, so put in capital P. And so now we have this command running. And it generates all the files in the backup directory, which is great. Let's go ahead and remove that. So backup, run the command again, take a look at the backup directory, and you can see it is now just that single file. I would recommend using all of this command right here inside of a script because it's a lot easier when it's inside of a script. So take the command, and I will right click this and copy that. It just ran, but then I'll do a nano on a backup script .sh. You can call it whatever you want. Usually the .sh is what you use. And the way you do all scripting languages is you tend to start with a hash, exclamation point, and then the path of the binary to run the interpreter. So this is user bin bash, and then I can just paste this thing right here. And so when this runs, it should generate that file and put it in the correct location. And there you go. So let's go ahead and save that script. We'll change permissions 755 to the backup script. Clear the output. We'll remove the backup directory stuff. And we'll run our backup script just to make sure it works. Backup. And then take a look at the backup directory. And there we have our backup file. Now, when we're running this from the cron job, we need to know the absolute location of this backup script. So the absolute location is, I'm in the root directory, so it would be root backup script, just like that. And that's how you run it. So we got that copied right here. Now I'm going to use the cron tab, so it's good to figure out how that works. So you can use man 5 cron tab to see how it works. And if you scroll down, you can see there is this section right here where it talks about minutes, hours, day of the month, day of the week. You can choose which one you want it to run, or you can put an asterisk to say run every single minute, every single hour, every single day of the month, whatever you want. Okay. So I'm going to do cron tab -E, and it might prompt you for your editor, and you can just press enter to use nano, or select the number nano and use it. Nano's the easiest one. We're going to start out by testing the script by having it run every minute of every hour, every day of the month, and every day of the week. And we're going to paste this thing right here. And so what's going to happen is it's going to run this backup script every single minute. So exit out of there. And we're going to remove this backup file. And so we've got the backup script running. And it looks like it should run again in about 20-something seconds. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And date. So 7 seconds. And then once that hits, you can go ahead and look at the directory and see if it runs. There we go. The file has been generated. All right. So we've got that being generated automatically. So that's good. Now we go over to the client machine where we want to download this backup. So the client machine has to figure out where it wants to have the files. So I'm going to make a directory backup. And in this backup directory, you can see there is nothing there. And I want to create a cron job for this one as well. So the way you do that is you need to find some way to copy the files from the server to this client machine and get them there. And so I'm going to use rsync. So rsync, and I'm going to pass it the name of my user. So this is root at server.example.com. I currently already have the SSH set up so it can copy files over. If you want to see how to set up SSH so that you can do connections without using passwords, just authenticating using a key, you can look at the link. I have a link below in the comments or in the description below. So I want to copy over everything in the backup directory, and I want to copy it to my backup directory right here. And if I run this and you take a look, you can see the file is now been copied over to here. So I'm going to remove that. Backup star. Now I'm going to put this in my cron job. So I'm going to do a which on the rsync, just looking at the absolute path name of the command. So user bin rsync. Nothing here has a command in it, so I can run that. I can take a look at the backup directory, which is actually my current directory. I can see the file is there, which is great. I can remove the file. See it's gone. All right, now I could write a script to create this, or I can just put this directly in the cron tab. So I'll do a cron tab -E for edit. It is asking me my editor. I'm going to use 1 for nano. And let's do this one every minute of every hour of every day of month, every month, and every day of the week. And, oops, that's the wrong script. There we go. So middle button to paste, and this is the backup command that's going to be run. So if I exit out of that, the date stamp, I can see that in just about a minute, it should copy the file over and we should have our files in place. So that is basically how you do it. You just need to make sure you have a script that generates it on the server side, and then you want to make sure the client side copies over. I'm going to modify the server side. Maybe I want it to run at the hour, on the hour at 1 a.m. in the morning. So that's how you do that. And then it runs every day of every month of every day of the week. And maybe I want it to run just on one day of the week. So maybe I'll have it run on Monday. So every Monday at 1 a.m. it will run. Let's save that. And so the file will be generated regularly. It's currently there, so the other side, the client side, should work. And if I go to the client side, you can see that it should have generated the file, and you can see that the file is now there. So we can see that our cron jobs are working. So that is how you can use tar, cron, and rsync over SSH to create backups and get them over there. And let's do one last thing. We'll change this one so that maybe this one runs every maybe it runs at 1:30 on Monday. And then you can get that so that it runs half an hour after you generate the file. And there you go.